my goodness. It is after 5 o'clock and there's actual sunlight still. Hello everybody, it is the start to a new reading vlog for a completely different readathon. I haven't been in the mood to film anything since I sat down and filmed that Loot Crate unboxing at the beginning of the year. It's February. My life right now has just been incredibly busy. So my husband got laid off, found a new job closer to home, but that means on the days that I work at this little corporate library, I no longer have a ride to work. So I had to combine my hours so that I would come in at 2 days a week, not 3, because it's a 3-hour train ride just to get to work and a 3-hour train ride just to get home. I mean, there's actually multiple stops. It's just not one train. Like, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, finally get myself out of bed around 5:30, because I'm that type of person that takes forever to wake up. Well, if you're hearing a lot of noise in my microphone, sorry. Can't help that really. I'm walking and talking. And then I catch the train at around 7 o'clock to go into Boston. And then I take the subway from South Station to North Station. And then I take the train out of North Station. Leave my house around 6:30 to make it to this train. And I don't even get to work till 9 o'clock. And this morning, after all that, I was 10 minutes late to work. But because this has been my life since the beginning of the year, it's been wiping me out. So I've been rather slumpy about when it comes to reading, and I just haven't had any real motivation to film or edit anything. So I'm kind of hoping doing this reading vlog will encourage me to do all of those things. It's actually why I'm so late in starting this vlog. The readathon started on Sunday. I had work on Sunday. Wasn't motivated to read or vlog that day. Yesterday, I actually had a day off. However, since it was my first real day off in 2 weeks, because I've been working every day, because I have to work X amount of Sundays, I had no desire to read or film, or I started editing yesterday, but I think I got maybe 10 minutes in a vlog and went, I don't care. And it wasn't until this morning that I started reading a little bit. So right now I'm reading Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I actually started reading this 2 weeks ago for House Salt Reading Club. And that's what's called. It was created by like Marinez from My Name is Marinez and Sam from Thoughts on Tomes and a couple other people. And their live show is already coming on. But I'm still trying to read this. So as of right now, I don't have a TBR. I've been rambling for at least 4 minutes and I don't even know what the challenges are. Actually, I don't think I've even talked to you about that. So the readathon, since I obviously like to go on all sorts of rabbit trails, the readathon, that's actually my walk right now. It's rather dangerous. The readathon is called the Oscars Readathon, and all the challenges has something to do with all the Oscar noms. Like Jojo Rabbit's for a challenge, and then Joker's also another challenge. I don't really have a TBR, and I'm trying to read Sorcery of Thorns. So right now, my goal is just to finish that and see what it counts for. And we'll kind of like read as we go throughout the week. And I think this will be it for my intro. I'll talk more about the actual book in a little bit. This is a really busy street and I should be paying attention to that rather than talking to you guys. So I'll check back in. Hello everybody. So it is the next day. I got home earlier than I normally would. I actually got home around 7:30 last night, and that's because despite North Station being full of Bruins fans, because last night was a game. If you're not aware, TD Garden and North Station is pretty much the same building. And I had to like go through a bunch of fans in order to get to the subway. And normally when I have to fight through a bunch of people, I just miss the earlier train. I think since I've started taking this train at the beginning of the month, I lied, at the beginning of January, I've only made this earlier train for the second time last night. I usually have to wait a half hour for the next one, which means I don't usually get home until 8 o'clock. So I got home earlier than I normally would. But I was still pretty tired, and so I just watched TV for the rest of the night. I didn't do any more reading once I got home. I did continue, I did continue listening to Sorcery of Thorns. So, before I get into the book, I finally looked into all the different challenges and what the readathon is. It's the Best Picture Readathon that started on the 2nd and it's till the 8th. It was created by Caitlin from Book Chats and Rebecca from Rebecca Lovato. She used to be Y Mermaids. Each of the Oscar nominations is a prompt. So the first one is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's a buzzy book you don't know much about. Second one is The Irishman, a book that's at least 400 pages. Third one is Parasite, a book in translation or set in Korea. Fourth one, 1917, a story set during a war. The next one is A Marriage Story, a story about a relationship. Jojo Rabbit is the next one, a book whose protagonists are children. The next one is Joker, a book where the protagonist is a villain or an unreliable narrator. The next one is Little Woman, a book by a woman about women. And the last one rather, is Ford versus Ferrari, a book featuring a competition or race. Right now I'm listening to Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Robertson, and Robertson is Rogerson. I don't know why I said that. By Margaret Rogerson. And I feel like it could possibly count for at least one of these. So it's about a girl named Elizabeth Scrivener. They keep calling her by her first name, so I keep forgetting what her last name is. Our main character is Scrivener. She was found as a foundling, and she was raised in this great library, which basically means that she's being trained to be a librarian of this magical library. I'm like waving this around. I'm having a snack before work. However, things go awry when her warden is killed, and she's suspected of killing the warden, when there's evidence that points that it's actually a sorcerer. Now, she was raised to believe that sorcerers were evil because they made deals with demons. So she's always believed that sorcerers are not to be trusted. And now with the death of the warden, she is very convinced of this fact now. So she's sent to the main city where she's going to be tried for this warden's murder, only to be targeted and attacked, and it's revealed to everyone else that she didn't actually do this. I'm about halfway the book now, and the person who did it has been revealed already, which is surprising. I figured this entire book was going to be trying to figure out who actually did it, but no, it's been revealed who did it. We're just trying to figure out what this person's motive is. And it's about Scrivener trying to clear her name. Well, she hasn't actually said she's trying to clear her name, she's just trying to do the right thing, but in the process, this will clear her name. The atmosphere is very magical and very cool. She's gotten help from Nathaniel, who's a sorcerer, and his demon Silas. And we're starting to see her attitudes change about sorcerers. I honestly would not be surprised if this was a romance thing happening between them. Which is why I think it will at least count for Marriage Story, a story about a relationship. It's not really about a relationship, but it seems a relationship might be featured, so I feel like it could possibly count for that. But this girl is definitely a teenager. This is a young adult book. So I want to say she's 17, and in my 30-year-old brain, that's a child. So it definitely counts for Jojo Rabbit. My overall thoughts are I feel like Scrivener is a little too naive. She's very sweet. However, her behavior has become rather frustrating because she is so naive and too trusting. And I don't like that I get, it's hard to explain. I get why she still doesn't trust Silas, because Silas is a demon. However, he saved her bacon quite a few times at this point. So I'm just surprised that she's just so distrustful of him, especially since she's so naive. You would think that, oh, this person saved me, he's good. It's just frustrating because I don't understand why she's so trustful of other people but not so trustful of others. Her behavior is just baffling to me. And I also I really don't like that we know who did it. I kind of wish this was more of a mystery sort of thing happening. I'm kind of bored already knowing who did it. Only because I feel like the motivation is going to be boring. I feel like it's going to be a world domination sort of thing, and I find that to be a really boring motivation. So I'd be surprised if I rated this more than 3 stars. I didn't do much reading this morning. I did continue listening to this audiobook on the way to work, but honestly this morning I figured it would be more prudent to edit a video. I'm trying to catch up on my Lord of the Rings Readathon videos, and I would like all of those videos to be out by the end of the week, but we'll see. With this new traveling schedule, I find that I only have enough energy to send out 1 video a week. I'm not sure if I have more motivation to do more than that. I know for a fact if I filmed on Wednesday mornings and then edited during the weekend, I'd get more videos out. But it's the editing part that just has me dragging. I did bring another book. Now knowing what the challenges are, my goal is to read at least 3 books this week and just see what falls for what. I actually have Check Please in my bag. Do I have it out already? Here it is. Check Please. This very cute graphic novel about hockey. That's all that looks like. The author is Ngozi Akazu, if I'm pronouncing that right. I think this is a male and male romance, based from what I heard and from what I understand. Our main character is the guy with the pie, and he used to be in figure skating, and now he's on a hockey team, and he has a crush on one of his teammates. That's what I understand of the story. I feel like this would be a very fast read, and I ought to finish it by the end of the week. I have another graphic novel in mind, but we'll see if I'll actually have the energy to get to it. But that's it for this check-in. I'll check in with you guys later. Good morning, everybody. So it is Saturday, the last day of the readathon. It has been a while since I checked in. So last time I checked in was Wednesday. At least I'm pretty sure that was the last checked in. That's how long it's been. I did read some more since then. I didn't vlog at all on Thursday because Thursday was like Tuesday, a 3-hour commute in the morning, an 8-hour day at work, and then a 3-hour commute home. But much like Tuesday, I got lucky and got on the earlier train. And then I also did my usual shift, my usual 4-hour shift at this little library here. And this morning, I'm here instead of at the main branch. Excuse me, I'm like slowly losing my voice. Since I checked in, I did start and finish Check Please. This is the cutest thing I've ever read. Our main character is Eric Biddle. He's from the South, and he was a very, not well-known, but he was a very good figure skater, and then he goes to college and joins the hockey team. And he makes friends with the rest of our cast here, as seen on the cover. This was about him, like, living his life as himself, because he's from the South. He wasn't able to be out with his sexuality. He's gay. And since he's going to school in the Boston area, he was able to like come out and like live his life. He actually specifically chose the school because it is according to whatever thing that he found out, the school was like one of the most accepting LGBT schools. And that's why he really wanted to go to this school. I thought Eric Biddle was the cutest freaking character. I was within 50 pages before I was like, you know what? He is my son. I will kill for him. I will protect him with my life. I was in love with him within 50 pages. And our main character actually has a crush on the captain of the team. And I really was rooting for him the entire way. I also liked all of the side characters. Like, there wasn't a character that I disliked. All in all, this is a 5-star read for me. The second book comes out in April, and I'm like, I can't believe I have to wait so long. I mean, it's a webcomic, so maybe I can find the rest of the comics online, but I think I want to wait until it's all bound up like this. Again, so freaking cute. I love this so much. I'm almost done with Sorcery of Thorns. I think I'm a little over 3/4 the way. I'm hoping to finish it by the end of the day, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So I actually brought a bunch of comic books to read while I'm at work to try to do more challenges. Let me read the other stuff that I brought, and I'll come back to this prompt list at the end of the day, because today is the last day, so I will check in at the end of the day to see where I left off.
One eternity later.
Hello, everybody. So it's been well over a week, probably longer than that at this point. I think it's been about 2 weeks since I last checked in. Life has just gotten in the way. The readathon is obviously well and over, like it's well over at this point. Last time I checked in, it was the last day of the readathon, and I had only finished one book. I did not finish Sorcery of Thorns in time for the end of the readathon, so I will not count it whatsoever, especially since I started it for the readathon and finished it after the readathon. I'm just not going to count it. While I was at work, I did read 2 more books. Dear Scarlet, The Story of My Postpartum Depression by Teresa Wong. This is a graphic novel that's basically a letter from Teresa Wong to her daughter Scarlet. Scarlet is her firstborn, and she experienced postpartum depression. And she kind of documents that journey of like being diagnosed and figuring out what she needed to do, and it was all about, of course, her feelings and her feeling inadequate, her feeling like she was a terrible mother. Excuse me, didn't mean to stutter there. It was very moving, and it was very sad. I actually felt myself like getting choked up while I was at work. Thank goodness I was wearing my glasses. I ended up rating this 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was very good. The art style was a little on the plain side, but I've noticed a lot of the more like modern graphic novels have either a very plain art style or a very quirky art style. But still, the art style did not diminish how impactful the story was. So again, 4 out of 5 stars. And the other thing that I read while I was at work is How to Land on Your Feet, Life Lessons from My Cat by Jamie Shyman. It's a non-fiction graphic novel, and the title is very self-explanatory. It was basically an illustration with a little like tidbit on how to live your life. Like this one right here is conserve your energy. And that's something I definitely need to do. Try to live my life a little bit at a slower pace. Oh, this one's my favorite, like on the other side. Speak up when you need something. Don't we all need to do that a little bit more? This was also very cute. Again, the art style was on the quirkier side. I also rated this 4 out of 5 stars. And then when I got home, I did continue reading because I wanted to try to get at least a couple more challenges out. However, one of the books I did read that day, I read because I was interested in the topic. But now that I've gone through this, it doesn't actually count for anything, but I'll still like vaguely talk about it. That book is The Cool Factor by Andrea Lynette. It's really just a picture book on various women. Ooh, wait! It does count for something. Little Women. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, it's a guide to achieving effortless style with secrets from the women who have the cool factor. And this was just a lookbook. The person would start with an interview with one of the women in this book, and the women were just regular women instead of models. These women that the author picked, it was just women from her life that she felt like, these are just cool women. They have such self-confidence. What is your secret? And that's what like that interview basically was. And each chapter kind of focused on a particular thing. Like there was a chapter on jeans. There was a bit on shoes. Oh, and we have like a cheat sheet with like the classics of what every person should have in their closets. I like fashion books. I like flipping through them. I like looking to see and how I can revamp my wardrobe by just using the stuff I currently have instead of spending money and buying clothes only to get rid of them in 3 months because I didn't quite love them. So this was an interesting flip through. This was worth flipping through. I didn't necessarily love it, but it was still interesting enough. So I rated this 3 out of 5 stars. And the last book I did read for this readathon is First Year Out by Sabrina Symington, if I'm pronouncing her last name right. She's a trans woman, and this is like a fictionalized version of her own transition story. This is a graphic novel, and it kind of just follows like the first year of this person's life. It started off with Lily at an electrolysis appointment and her feeling that dysphoria of having to show up with a fully bearded face, and then it continues on with her like dating for the first time as a trans woman, and it continues on with her trying to find her new identity in this world, and it ends with her getting sex reassignment surgery. It definitely felt like this, like the audience wasn't necessarily for trans people. It felt like more of an intro for cisgendered people. But it could also have been so simplified for people who are newly transitioning and they don't quite know where to start. It was an interesting enough story, but I didn't necessarily care for the art style really. So I ended up rating this 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. So that is everything that I read, because I already talked about Check Please and how much I loved that beautiful boy. So I did read a total of 5 books that week. And now we're going to go through all the different prompts of what counted for what. I'm going to have Check Please count for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was a buzzy book you don't know much about. Because I've seen this book talked about on BookTube, but I didn't really know a whole lot about it other than it's a graphic, like a hockey graphic novel. That's all I knew about it. I'm going to have Dear Scarlet count for 1917, a story set during a war, because sometimes mental health can feel like such a battle. Because I know for me personally, like within the last couple of days, I've been really struggling myself. And the next prompt, Marriage Story, a story about a relationship. I'm thinking I'm going to have First Year Out count for that, because it does follow that's the author, Lily, our main character, her dating for the first time. So I think I'm going to use that for that challenge. And this book here, How to Land on Your Feet, Life Lessons from My Cat, I think I'm going to have that count for Jojo Rabbit, a book whose protagonists are children. Because honestly, our pets are our babies. Little Women, a book by a woman about women, and I think that's going to be the cool factor. And the last challenge, Ford versus Ferrari, a book featuring a competition or race. That's obviously Check Please. So even though I totally joined this last minute and this was a bit of a mess vlogging wise, I did complete 6 challenges. That's actually pretty good for 5 books. Oh, and just to appease your curiosity with Sorcery of Thorns, I did finish it after the readathon, like I've already mentioned. I rated it 2.5 stars. Didn't necessarily love it. So if you're curious about my thoughts, that was pretty much it. But yeah, that's basically all I got for you. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts on some of these books. What did you end up reading for this readathon? And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I guess it's ta-ta for now. Bye guys.